Chemist Walter Schoenenberger studied pharmacy in Munich. Whilst studying old books about herbs, he came across the long-forgotten healing power of fresh plant juices and their therapeutic effect. He was convinced that the fresh juice of the dried plant held considerable healing power, and in 1927 in Markstadt near Stuttgart, he founded his plant juice factory. He started with dandelion, stinging nettle and coltsfoot that were soon followed by a whole palette of other medicinal plants. Today, the modern factory produces almost 40 different fresh-pressed plant juices available to the customer all year round as natural medicines. Schoenenberger has been growing its own crops of medicinal plants through contractual growers for 3 generations. All the fields are certified for organic crops according to organic farming regulations. Through selection, the seeds used have achieved a particularly high level of active substance content. It is a natural cycle from spreading the compost on the fields to bottling. No artificial fertilizers are used. We use the residue from our own production as compost. The seedlings grown in the glass houses are planted in the fields by machine, pressed in by heavy rollers, and thoroughly watered. So the plants grow quickly, but the weeds that we now call beneficial weeds also grow furiously. Of course, we can use machines between the rows, but weeding in the rows themselves has to be done by hand. In organic farming, combating weeds is expensive and cost-intensive, as we are not allowed to use any herbicides. The crop in the field is constantly monitored. We determine the optimum time for harvesting by means of field tests in the laboratory. The Schoenenberger laboratories are equipped with the latest scientific equipment and operated by highly qualified staff. Gas chromatography allows traces of impurities to be identified with such precision that even the equivalent of a sugar cube in a lake could be detected. High-pressure liquid chromatography allows the individual characteristic plant compounds to be isolated. This allows us to make what the company's founder, Walter Schoenenberger, defined as the plant's active substance ring to be made visible in its natural complexity. Here is a field of purple coneflowers, Echinacea purpurea, to give them their Latin name, that's recognized as a remedy for increasing the body's defenses and for respiratory infections. St. John's wort is also a tried and tested medicinal plant. The pressed juice of fresh, flowering St. John's wort is a natural method for reducing nervous tension and helps with nervous exhaustion. It also provides effective relief from the stressful, psychological side effects of the menopause. Schoenenberger cultivates its own crop of hawthorn in the Swabian Mountains. There's a research project underway to establish which of 9 different hawthorn varieties has the highest active substance content and is most suitable to inculturate under difficult weather conditions. Since 2003, over 10,000 hawthorn bushes have been planted here over an area of 70,000 square meters. Hawthorn is a tried and tested remedy. Pressed juice from hawthorn blossom and leaves supports the cardiovascular function and increases the heart's capacity. Let us show you how we produce pressed juice from a fresh plant, taking dandelion as an example. The dandelion field is very close to the Schoenenberger factory, which means that little transport is involved. Special tractors cut the plant close to the roots, allowing ongoing sprouting for the next crop. The crop is harvested in the early morning, preferably when the weather is dry. The roots are simply shaken to remove any soil. The factory is reached in a few minutes. There's a stop on the way at the weighing platform to calculate the gross weight. On the way back, the empty trailer is weighed again. This allows us to calculate the exact weight of the produce delivered. The plants are then unloaded in the warehouse. The fresh dandelion now has to be immediately spread out over a large area. If they're laid out in more than one layer, the plants warm up and quickly deteriorate. The first requirement is meticulous cleanliness. After each delivery, the entire warehouse is thoroughly cleaned. Special zero-emission front loaders pick up the plants and take them to the conveyor belt, onto which they're loaded in loose layers. Stainless steel rollers then take the plant to the chopper, which coarsely chops up the flowers, stems and roots. All the equipment with which the plants come into contact is made from stainless steel to guarantee completely hygienic conditions. Now the first laboratory sample of the fresh produce is taken. In addition to determining the drying loss, a sample is frozen so that the quality on supply can be checked at any time. In the meantime, production continues. The chopped-up dandelion plants travel over the doctorals and weighing belt to the ascending worm screw that carries them to the production facility. It then passes through the pre-steamer, followed by the retaining steamer, before reaching the lifting column shovel, which takes it up another story. Cloths are spread out and dished heads separate the individual layers from each other. After another layer of new cloths and heads, the container empties. A lot happens automatically, but the plants are still traditionally spread over the dish heads by hand. Once we have a full batch, it automatically sets off on its way to the press. The core of the entire factory is the large hydraulic press with its steel cylinder. This can create a pressure of up to 300 bar. Now the pressing process can begin. The stamp, weighing several tons, sets onto the dish heads. Only one person operates the press process via a touch screen. The pressure increases. Initially it shows 37 bar, then 247 bar, and then we reach the desired value of 250 bar. The cell sap starts to run, first very lightly, then increasingly strongly. The dandelion plants are giving their best, exuding all the active substances with their juice. Any parts of the plant still in the juice are separated by a sieve. The press stamp is then raised again, releasing the batch in the press. The cloths are shaken. The almost dry pomace falls onto a conveyor screw that takes it outside onto waiting trailers. The pomace is composted and spread onto the fields again, completing the organic cycle. A sample is taken for in-process testing. This undergoes thorough analytical examination. Production continues. The freshly pressed juice reaches the storage tank by means of a computer-controlled branch system of stainless steel pipes. The juice then passes through centrifuges to be clarified before finally reaching the bottling tank. As Schoenenberger fresh plant juices do not contain any additives such as sugar, alcohol or preservatives, they have to be briefly heated for preservation. Although the bottles arrive clean and new from the glass foundry, they still have to be thoroughly washed again. A lift station with suction cups takes the bottles from the pallet and places them onto the table in front of the conveyor belt. Schoenenberger only uses non-returnable bottles as, by law, bottles for pharmaceutical products can only be used once. The conveyor belt then takes the bottles to the washing facility. In what are known as rinsers, the bottles are then turned upside down and washed with hot water jets, steam sterilized, and dried with sterile air. Only then do the bottles reach the bottling facility. The juice is bottled hot and exactly 200 milliliters is bottled. Now the bottles filled to the brim reach the sealing plant where they're given a screw top. At the same time, they are also laser coated. Bottling temperature is approximately 80 degrees. So the bottles now have to be recooled and stored in layers of 360 units. The lift station gets to work again, picks up the bottles and places them onto pallets. A forklift truck now takes the bottles to the quarantine store where they're held until labeling and clearance. Each pallet is clearly marked with the product name, article number, batch description, and date of production. Samples are again taken for the laboratory. These are tested, amongst other things, for active substance content and sterility. After they have been approved, the bottles leave the quarantine store into the packaging area. An illuminated panel shows which product is currently being processed. The bottles pass along the conveyor belt, past visual control, where each bottle is checked in front of an illuminated panel to ensure that it's full and in good condition. A measuring cup is now fixed to the bottle. It now passes through the labeling facility, where labels are added to the bottles. The batch description and use-by date are then printed on the bottle. The entire packaging line is fully automated, although specialist staff are required for checking and backfilling stock. An instruction leaflet is added and the bottle placed in the carton. The carton is printed with the batch description and use-by date, sealed at both ends, and glue laminated. Then grouped into a block and placed in the box for shipment. The box is sealed and glue laminated. Finished. The forklift truck takes the boxes to the finished goods warehouse until clearance and then to the waiting lorry for delivery to the customer. The Schoenenberger program has over 40 different pressed fresh plant juices. A combination of individual juices such as artichoke, stinging nettle or potato stimulates the metabolism, dehydrates, cleanses and reduces your body weight completely naturally. In conjunction with a program of treatment, they form the basis of the popular Schoenenberger slimming cure. Schoenenberger fresh plant pressed juices have become a value concept. Freshly harvested in the morning, bottled in the evening, strictly according to the guidelines of Walter Schoenenberger, the chemist and founder of the company, who developed a new method of treatment over 80 years ago, based on the knowledge of our forefathers and rigorous science. In the Schoenenberger Company archives, samples of all the bottles since the company was founded have been kept. Over the course of the decades, they have scarcely changed, but have simply been adapted to the times in terms of their printed text and design. The content, however, has stayed the same. A brand name of the highest quality from fresh medicinal plants that have been obtained according to the strictest criteria of organic farming. Processed and tested by the Eco Management and Audit Scheme System EMAS and certified by Larcon. Schoenenberger plant juices, natural medicines with the organic seal.